नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय मन्दाकिनी सलिलचन्दन चर्चिताय नन्देश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय मंदार पुष्प बहुपुष्प सुपूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय शैवाय गौरीवदनाब्जवृन्द सूर्याय दक्षाय ध्वरनाशिकाय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषभध्वजाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय वसिष्ठकुम्भोद्भवगौतमाय मुनीन्द्रदेवार्चितशेखराय चन्द्रार्कवैश्वानरलोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पीनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय दिव्याय देवाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय पञ्चाक्षरमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकम् अवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते।
Lord Shiva is Brahman, God, the Absolute. His form is called Saguna Sakar, highly allegorical. Snowy white light is emanating from his body, represents absolute purity. Snake on his neck represents all powers. Kundalini Shakti is under his control. He sits on the tiger skin. All the animal aspect in your personality, anger, greed, etc., all that is brought into tiger symbolism. He is Pashupati, the Lord of all animal aspect of personality. In other words, if you turn to him, you will not have animality in your personality. And the Ganges emerges out of his matted locks. It's Ganga that washes away all impurities. And he has a drum that represents the Big Bang. And there are many more symbolisms. But basically, remember, He is your innermost self, Brahman, the Absolute, as Shiva. So with that, close your eyes. Om Namah Shivaya. And try to let your mind soar.
We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji in Miami, Florida. Tonight, on the occasion of Mahashivaratri, Swamiji's special message is Mystic Insight into Mahashivaratri. And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananji.
Om. Om. Namami Shamishana Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam Nijam Nirgunam Nirvikalpam Niriham Chidakasham Akash Vasam Bhajeham. O Lord, the Lord of Lords, I offer adorations to you. You are the very embodiment of nirvana, liberation, nirvana rupam. You are all powerful, all pervading Brahman, who is manifest in the form of the Vedas. You are self-effulgent, devoid of the gunas, modes of nature, devoid of vikalpas, vrittis of the mind, thought waves of the mind. Desireless. You are the absolute consciousness. You are the supreme akasha. You remember three akashas, space. Bhutakash is your practical space. Chittakash is your mental space, a space that allows you to have a world of your sentiments and a world of your desires. And you have the Akasha, final Akasha, Chidakash, that's pure awareness. Shiva is absolute Chidakash, wrapping up all that exists. Adorations to you. First, let me give you insight into the general plan on Shivaratri. This is called Mahashivaratri. Ordinary Ratri comes and goes. But if you have experienced Mahashivaratri, there will be no night to spend. the world that presents day and night, which implies also the cycle of birth and death. That terminates when you have attained realization of Shiva. Shiva is same as Brahman, the Absolute. And that applies to all your Ishta mantras. Every mantra is essentially Brahman. Viewing any mantra lesser is due to immaturity of your understanding. But God is one and the same. Think of a mystic palace, and there is God on the throne, and you are devotees coming from all sides, and you look through the windows. All devatas and devis are windows. Look through the window of the Ganesha. And whom are you seeing? Lord Shiva. Through the window of Saraswati, through the window of Vishnu, through the window of Rama, through the window of Krishna. You are looking at just one Shiva. And that profound understanding must enter into your heart. Whomsoever you have chosen as your Ishta Devata, that Ishta Devata means your offering is going to all Devatas, because he is the summation of all Devatas. That's also allegorical term, because all Devatas are different aspects of the same one Absolute. Sherate pranine yatra sa Shiva. The scriptural description of Shiva is where all souls find their absolute refuge. That's Shiva. All souls are like reflected suns, and all reflected suns find their absolute refuge in the sun. And the sun is same allegorically as Shiva. I'll begin with Shiva mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. And I'm practically initiating you all. Initiation to any one mantra gives insight into all initiations. Every mantra is a blend of bijaksharas, root letters. Thus mantra becomes a mystic formula. Here's the mystical meaning. Om, that's Brahman, the Absolute. And I will not go into detail of Om. With awe, you open up your tongue. With ma, lips closed. So all that you have to say from the throat to the lip is enfolded in Om. So when you are sounding Om, all bijaksharas, all root letters begin to resonate with it. So Om is a perfect mantra. Namah consists of two letters, na plus ma. Na is a negation. Ma, sense of mindness. Nothing is mine. That's the meaning behind Nama. Therefore, live with an increasing sense of surrender to God. Shivaya. She is a brief of Shri, representing Goddess Lakshmi. Remember, Shiva being Brahman, Prakriti is his magical power. So all the Shaktis, the Devis, they have come from the magical power of Shiva. That magical power is Uma Devi, Parvati Devi. It is Parvati Devi who expresses in the form of Durga Devi at your navel center, who is the Shakti behind Kriya Yoga. Shakti expresses through Lakshmi Devi at your Anahat Chakra, at your heart center. And that Shakti is Ichha Shakti, the Shakti of willpower. And it is this Shakti that enriches you with all divine virtues. She is the presiding deity of satsangas. And of course, in modern times, Shri. Gives you amazing information. She represents Goddess Lakshmi and implying develop spiritual wealth, virtuous qualities. Va, spiritual expansion of consciousness. Whenever there is a joyous experience, you say va, va, va. 3 va. 1 va is expansion in the world. The other va is expansion in your thoughts and feelings. Another va is divine communion. All the va is implied in a spiritual expansion of consciousness. And the final stage of the mantra is Ya. Ya is yummy, root letter of the heart. It relates to divine communion in the heart. I also introduce you to another mantra, Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Is the healing mantra. And this mantra should become international. And in modern times, it can be a source of tremendous strength and divine grace. Let me recite the mantra, and you can also recite with me. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam urvarukmva bandhanan mrityor mukhyamamritat. Om. We worship the three-eyed Lord Shiva. Three-eyed, two eyes are practical realities. Third eye that transcends the world of appearance. Practical world is a world of appearance. Third eye gives you intuitional vision. What is all this? When you dream, you are operating with delusional vision of duality, two eyes represented by duality. When you wake up, third eye operates. This I am giving as an allegorical symbol. As long as you are in the world of ignorance, you are like in a dream. In a dream, three things go wrong. Subject, the world of objects, interacting experience. When all these three are negated, you wake up. The third eye of Shiva negates the illusion of triad. So that's all that implied by Trayambakam, Triambakam. Yajamahe, we adore. Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam. Shiva is the giver of fragrance and nourishment. Fragrance implies purifying your vasanas, subtle desires that exist in the unconscious. Your vasanas become source of divine inspiration, Shubha Vasana. Instead of Ashubha Vasana, impure Vasana, they turn into Shubha Vasana. And that works like wafting fragrance. And nourishment, divine nourishment is spiritual strength. How much Shakti you gain, how much strength you have, strength of faith, how much devotion you have to God, and how much aspiration you develop in your heart for liberation. If these 3 points, Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti movement, begin to inspire you, you are being nourished. If you are well nourished, your personality is like a cucumber fruit. A ripe cucumber fruit becomes detached from the creeper. Even while in creeper is far beyond the limitations of the creeper. And finally it gets detached. It cannot be brought back to the creeper again. So, if you become well nourished, you become a big pumpkin. And you become jump out of the creeper of the world process. May we attain release from the bondage of the world process and attain immortality. The prayer is not just personal for all. We term has been used. So opening the heart with this prayer is a powerful aid for bringing healing grace of God for yourself and for all others. This is the mantra for long life, peace, prosperity, and removal of all obstacles. Now, come to understand the way Shiva is presented as Ishta Devata. This type of symbolic presentation of Shiva, Nataraja, in a dancing pose, brings about 5 Panchakrityas, 5 functions of God. Tirobhava, that effaces all that is illusory. When you wake up, the entire dream gets effaced. Tirobhava is Lord Shiva pressing his foot on a demon. That demon is ignorance, avidya. And that aspect of Shiva is known as Maheshwara, the great Lord. Another aspect in that diagram of dancing Shiva, that is Anugrah. You see his one foot uplifted. That aspect of Shiva is called Sada Shiva. Agar bam baje damaru. Baje sad. Jagat Guru. This uplifted foot represents grace of God. See, let me give that statement and make it clear. Agar bam, baje damaru. Nache Sadashiva Jagat Guru. Shiva is the dancing, the guru of the whole world. And his damaru goes on bringing out his sound. And that's symbolic of divine grace. Shiva makes it easy to touch his foot. You don't even have to bend. His foot is uplifted. And that's called Anugrah. First one is Tirobhav, next one is Anugrah. Third one is Srishti. Srishti creation is represented by drum. Even scientists talk about bang theory, Big Bang. And that bang movement comes from the drum of Shiva. But Shiva's drum goes on beating. Science's drum waits. I'm joking. And that aspect of Shiva that beats his drum is known as Brahma, the creator. Already I have explained that from your Ishta Devata, all Devatas emanate. So Shiva is essence of all Devatas, all gods. Here are the highlighted gods. Brahma, the creator. Same Shiva becomes the Brahma. Also, you will see Shiva holding axe, and along with it there is fire. That aspect of Shiva that operates fiery axe is a basis for destruction of the world process. Dissolution, called Sanghar. That aspect of Shiva is called Rudra. And that aspect that offers blessings for all. Abhaya Mudra, your hand in this position. Shiva is then known as Vishnu. Shiva is Brahman, so don't be surprised. Brahman is the reality behind. Even the Shiva himself is presented in Shiva Puran as Sagun Sakar, Sagun Nirakar, Nirgun Nirakar, in 3 stages. Every Ishta Devata or Devi has the 3 stages. In 3rd stage, it's all one, Brahman. 1st stage, you have a form, allegorical form, along with divine attributes. Next stage, you go beyond forms. You stay with divine attributes, abstract. 3rd stage, you understand that your mind cannot capture the status of Brahman. The mind can bring out the best of poetry, the best of inspirational expression, but it will always remain limited. The reality, therefore, comes in the state of quietness. When you simply mind dives deep into samadhi. So all these are implied in Shiva worship. And before I go into further, let me give you just an illustration of how the mantra can be very effective in your daily life. And give you a sample along with Sukhapurvak Pranayam. First, recite Om. 3-aspected Om. 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 Now, Sukhapurvak Pranayam. Holding your right nostril closed, you are breathing in Om. Om Namah Shivaya. With Om you breathe in, but have a visualization. In Himalayan setting, you are sitting, before you there is a big mountain, Kailasha mountain, which is like a triangle. The conical peak is the climax where Shiva is. So first stage, you are soaring up like a swan. Allow your imagination to be very generous. With Om, you are soaring up. Now we have come to the top, and there is Shiva Linga, and you are circumambulating Shiva Linga. You can as well have Shiva himself. And then now you soar down through the slope, blessed with Shiva. That's Shivaya. Breathing in Om. Namah Pradakshina. Shivaya, breathe out. Again, Om. Namah Shivaya. Om. Namah Shivaya. And another simple version. Without touching your nose, simply relax wherever you are. Om, you are breathing in. When we have completed breathing in, Namah, mentally communing with Shiva. And then breathe out Shivaya, as if we have melted in Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Lord Shiva's the very form of Shiva, the highlighted meaning of the form, his snowy white complexion, the blue oozes out of it. But snowy white is pure sattva, absolute purity. And Shiva is presented as Shiva Linga. Linga is a shape of any flame, any candle flame that you put automatically becomes a linga. Believe it or not. More profound way of saying it is Jyotirlinga. Linga refers to mark, a symbolic point, indicating the divine truth. Jyotishamaphi Jyoti. Shiva is the light of lights. And Shivalinga is ever installed in the cave of your heart. Consider your heart a cave, or consider your heart a lotus. And in that there is Shivalinga. How you worship Shivalinga? You worship two ways. Alankar Priyo Vishnu, Abhishek Priya Shiva. When you are praying for developing divine virtues, that aspect of Shiva is Vishnu. And Vishnu likes ornamentations, alankar. Ornamentations are like divine virtues. So, when you worship Vishnu aspect of Shiva, you are developing divine virtues, you are bringing flowers. But when you worship Shiva in another aspect of universal destruction, where you want to have the whole world dissolve into Brahman, Abhisheka Priya, water must drip, sacred water over the head of Shivalinga in a continuity in unbroken succession. That's what Vedanta calls a dididhyasana, a constant flow of mind towards Brahman. It is a profound state of samadhi. But in ritual level, you begin to meditate on Shiva or worship Shiva by allowing water to flow from a sacred pot on the head of Shivalinga. Shiva's form has lots of mystical implication. I am giving you some highlights. You see him having snake as his ornament. Snake represents cosmic powers. The source of all the snake is Kundalini Shakti. He wears tiger skin. Tiger skin relates to animal aspect that the soul goes after due to ignorance, what is known as Pashu. To give you more extended understanding of Pashu, let me give you the names of 8 Pashas. Lord Shiva is called Pashupati. He removes 8 errors in your personality. They are called fetters, Pashas. First one is Ghrina, hatred. Do not let your mind be dominated by this sentiment of hatred. It has its impact on your health. Every virtue harmonizes the pranas and is of a healthy nature. Every vice reduces your pranic consistency and becomes the basis of some psychological and physical trouble as time passes by. I will not go into that detail, but grina is a hatred. Lajja, shyness towards sadhana. Somehow some families have developed a kind of delusional view that those who go into satsanga or go after worship, they are afraid of facing challenges in their life. And in order to appear that you are following the advice of those worldly minded, you show shyness. You don't have boldness towards the spiritual sadhana. Any type of shyness is lajja. And that makes you a pashu like an animal. Next is bhaya, fear. Next, shanka, doubt. Next, jugupsa, gossiping habit. Next, kul, pride of family, pride of your genealogy. Next, sheel, pride of social culture. And jati, is pride of a social, pride of your class. Just like in India, you have Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana. Similarly, all over the world, people have their sectarian divisions. But all these must drop away by grace of Shiva. That Shiva is the controller of all your pashas that make you Pashu. He therefore is known as Pashupati, the Lord of all pashas. The very form of Shiva is highly symbolic. The matted locks represent the mystic heights of consciousness. Ganges symbolizes the stream of knowledge. The crescent moon denotes the mastery over the mind. His third eye is the intuitional vision that destroys the cycle of birth and death. His blue throat is suggestive of his triumph over Kalakuta poison that relates to the miseries of the whole world process. Snakes that form the adornment of Shiva are Kundalini Shakti and its ramifications. The trident represents the triad. Triad means when you dream, I've already explained, the three things go wrong. The subject, the world of objects, interacting experience. The triad of Shiva removes these threefold illusions. He sits on lion skin, thereby implying his mastery over the lower self. And Shiva Shakti is Uma Devi, Parvati Devi. Parvati Devi is this, expresses herself as Durga Devi, the Devi behind Kriya Shakti, Lakshmi Devi, the Devi behind your Ichha Shakti, and Saraswati Devi, the Devi behind your Chit Shakti, Jnana Shakti. So Shiva and Shakti, they are the support of your entire personality, the entire world. And Shiva and Shakti are actually Brahman, absolute. I'll give you one episode, interesting episode. Story of the hunter, especially during the celebration of Mahashivaratri, people talk about this story. Once upon a time, a hunter returning home from forest, this hunter is called Vyadha. His profession was just to hunt animals. Every day he went out hunting. And because his family had to be fed, he was in charge of his whole family. So every day he did that. But one day it so happened that he didn't get any prey. And so in despair, he went into a forest and found a bilwa tree. He climbed the tree and when he climbed upon it, he had his bow and arrow. And he sees some animals passing by and he tries to straighten, but somehow his mind stops it. Unwittingly, he started practicing non-violence. Unwittingly, he started shedding tears, and along with it, plucking the bilwa fruit, bilwa leaves. Leaves come in triplets. And began to drop. And so happened that under the tree was a Shiva Linga. He continued doing that, shedding tears along with. Shiva is considered Bambola. He doesn't use ordinary reasoning. He became pleased and conferred upon him great prosperity, terminating with his liberation. He gave him bhukti and mukti, all the enjoyment as well as liberation. And that story relates to every soul. Every soul is a hunter. All that the objects that you find in the world, they are what you desire. They are the dear ones who are hunting for your deer. But stop hunting, climb the sadhana of bilwa tree, and start shedding the illusion of triad. Also improving on your thought, word, and deed. Changing thought, word, and deed means we are offering bilwa fruit, bilwa leaves on Shiva. And No matter what you might have been, no matter how many negative karmas you might have done, Shiva is not aware of it. Shiva completely ignores it. That's what is called Bambola. He's a big simpleton. Take advantage of it. And you attain liberation. I will give you one more episode. There are countless episodes. Shiva stories, Shiva Purana is filled with amazing episodes of mystical nature. The story I am presenting is Bhasmasur. Out of Lord Shiva's sweat, there emerged a demon and received from Shiva the boon that if he places his hand on anybody's head, that person will be burned to ashes. So the idea is, place the hand on forces of darkness. But this Bhasmasur developed egoistic pride behind it and went on placing the hand over so many good people and began to bring the ashes of those people for Shiva Vibhuti. Now, Shiva wanted to give him lesson, but Bhasmasur, understanding the plot of Shiva, went after Shiva himself, put his hand over towards Shiva. Now, Shiva began to run. Lord Vishnu played the role of Mohini, an enchantress who distracted Bhasmasur and made him dance with Mohini. In that dance, she placed her hand right on her head. He was to imitate the dance of Mohini. And in that imitation, he himself forgot the power of his own hand. He placed it on his head, and he was burned to ashes. Interesting stories, but subtle meaning behind it. This is Asmita Klesha, is Bhasmasur. Illusion of egoism. Asmita. Wherever your ego claims, puts its hand, this is mine, this is me, this is mine. Wherever it puts its head, it burns up. It's all perishable. Cure, led by Narada's satsanga, led by satsanga, etc., led by sadhana. Instead of placing your hand on people, you ask a question, who am I? You are putting your hand on your own head. Who makes you do that? Bhakti, devotion to God. Mohini plays the part of devotion. That paves the way for inquiry into who am I? And when you have placed your hand on your own eye, the eye gets burnt up. So with this I will conclude. Om. Om. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Also understand Shiva and Ram are deeply related in Shiva worship. Shiva is the great devotee of Ram. The entire Ramayana comes out of Shiva's heart. And Rama is great devotee of Shiva. This is a relationship of bhakti and jnana, a mutual relationship. Para bhakti, supreme devotion, and jnana, supreme wisdom. They are Shiva and Rama. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras, grace of Shiva over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhana Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Nidamaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.